right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a very special 2024 Royal Rumble Predictions panel episode of the BCP. Guys, we're here with A-plus players from BCP Plus. This is the A team right here. Don't tell anybody else, but you know him. Bless you, Bill. From thepopbreak.com, hashtag lay editor-in-chief of thepopbreak.com. Very, very handsome. Hashtag Dad Instincts, our good friend, and BCP Hall of Famer, Mr. Bill Bodkin. What's up, bro? Welcome in.
That's right. I am a BCP Hall of Famer. That is so weird and ridiculous.
Fair enough.
I'm still honored. Yes, welcome to the one time of year I am super positive on WWE. So thanks for having me, Rob. And you know what? I'm going to spoil something for you.
Okay.
I have a lot of positive things to say today. A lot of positive things to say, except for one match. I can't say anything positive about that. But listen, I got a lot of positive things to say.
I like positive, Bill. I mean, I hope I'm getting some. Me and Amanda were talking earlier. We want some singing. We want some rants. So hopefully,
I was thinking of a song, and I'm just nothing was coming to me.
Let it be organic. Yeah.
Let it be organic.
I got you, man. This is why he's the Hall of Famer. And guys, please welcome back to the show. You know her from the BCP. You know her from the popbreak.com. You know her from the Socially Distanced podcast, our very own Amanda Lorian, Amanda Rivas. What's up, Amanda? How are you?
Hi, it's great to be back, and I'm doing great. I'm excited and I'm happy. It's like there was so much good news today, so much to talk about, and this is gonna be a great weekend. And I'm here with you guys, so this is like even better for me. So thank you for having me back, and I'm ready to see what Bill sings organically.
Yes,
this is gonna be great.
We'll see.
Bill sings organically. Lots of theme songs we could go with, but everyone's positive. Bill's in a good mood. Amanda's in a good mood. I'm in a pretty good mood. Things are good. Lots to talk about. Bill, should we talk with the news today? You want to bring it in? You want me to bring it in, man?
I mean, it is the Bob Culture podcast, so I mean, if you want to bring it in, you are more than welcome.
I was trying to pass it off so I could do tech real quick and share it everywhere.
Okay, so let's talk about what's going on today.
Thank you.
A day that I don't know if a lot of wrestling fans would have expected. It was announced in twofold moves today. First thing we're going to discuss is WWE Monday Night Raw is leaving terrestrial television after 31 years.
Wow.
Michael Cole can no longer say it's the longest running episodic show on television because they're going to streaming. I stole that from someone from Twitter. So sorry. Not an original thought. You'll find a lot of not original thoughts coming out of this mouth. But yes, it is a $5 billion deal for 10 years. It was announced today. Now, there are some ins and outs and what have yous about this that we all need to know. So this is going to be live streaming of Monday Night Raw in the United States. Netflix also takes over live streaming of Raw, I believe NXT, and premium live events outside of the United States of America. There is also a renew and cancellation clause within this contract, which I will credit Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics and not Brandon, the Flamingo King of Amanda's heart. Because if he broke that news, I'd be like, dude, just get in the scoops biz and scoops with a big old Z. Netflix can cancel Monday Night Raw after 5 years during the contract, or can renew it for an additional 10. So there is a point where I could be in my 60s and WWE's contract with Netflix will be up, and that's just incredibly depressing to think about. But it's very good for the wrestling industry, guys, because WWE is now on the biggest content platform in the world. I want to get your guys' thoughts. Let's not talk about the money so much of it. One, because math is not something I'm very good at. So let's talk about the deal itself, what you guys think about the ramifications of it could be for the wrestling industry and WWE itself. So Amanda, like we do every Friday on the Socially Distanced podcast, which you can find on Socially Distanced on all your favorite streaming platforms and thepopbreak.com every Friday morning. We'll be doing True Detective Season 4's first 2 episodes this week. I am nothing if I am not a company man. Tell us your thoughts on WWE moving its #1 show to Netflix. And before we go on, I will say that SmackDown will be moving to USA in the fall, NXT moving to CW. So USA still will have that, and Peacock will still have the U.S. streaming rights for the WWE PLEs.
So again, brilliant move by WWE, because we talked about it on the socially distanced as one of our pre-games here recently was, did Netflix win the streaming war? And we talked about it from the context of football. But now you have Netflix winning from a wrestling standpoint. They pulled in the most well-known property in wrestling history on their show. Everybody thinks about Monday Night Raw. SmackDown is right behind it, but you say wrestling, people are like Raw, right? So I mean, it's a brilliant move. It's actually, I feel like, going to put WWE in more eyes, because a lot of people have moved away from terrestrial television and they just exclusively stream at this point. So I mean, you might pick up some newer, younger viewers. And again, most people stream nowadays. So I mean, you're really just continuing to keep eyes on the product. I think Netflix is smart to kind of put in this is a very much a let's try and see. I think that was smart to put in we can terminate, after 5 years because you never know what the future is going to hold, whether streaming I think streaming is a way of the future, obviously, but yeah, you never know. And it's also a good out for WWE too, because, in case if it doesn't work with Netflix in 5 years, we'll see what else is out there competition wise, although Netflix is going to, I'm pretty sure, just dominate for the foreseeable future. So I think it's very, very smart for both and a strong partnership for both, because you also have people that maybe stayed on terrestrial television for wrestling and just maybe didn't want to pay for Netflix, and now they may just jump over for Netflix, because now it's always, I think it targets the people that say, I don't have a Netflix subscription because it doesn't have enough content for me that's interesting. I think you'll be able to get people in that are like, hey, I'm going to follow because I can't miss Raw, or I can't, I want to keep up with it. I'll bite the bullet and get the Netflix subscription. And I believe, Bill, it's going to be ad-free for the people with the ad-free tiers, correct?
That I believe is correct. I will get into a little bit more of that. There is many an ad-supported tier. Netflix is actually going to be increasing the base price to $11.99, it looks like.
Yeah, but that's what I think. I'm curious, Rob. You curious to see what you think over here.
Look at that seamless transition. Amanda, it's dishing the ball like John Stockton to Karl Malone.
Take it from
here.
But
Karl Malone, like when he was on the Lakers, not the Jazz, because you are falling apart.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're not really Karl Malone people here though either.
Listen, I get it. I get it. That's why I made him Lakers Karl Malone. Yeah. Like
yes, I appreciate that.
Leather pants Karl Malone, where it's just like, all right, maybe you're kind of done. You're kind of cooked. Rob, you're kind of cooked. What can I tell you?
That's fair.
At least you're not me.
Yeah,
I'm already in a Hall of Fame. I'm already old and dead.
No, stop, please. In the chat, Nooner saying, love you, beautiful people. All the love, Noons. Good talking to you.
The best man ever.
That's right. J-Bone, I was just on 3 Counts and Knockouts podcast. I'm going to be repeating a lot of what I said over there. Shout out J-Bone. We got to have you on the BCP sometime. And I'll start with him. He said over there that like Raw is a tradition in his family's house. Like that's something every Monday they get together, or it's like a tradition in his home. So I think that could be the case for a lot of people. I'm kind of gauging it like when I posted it this morning, just kind of reading the comments. Like if I take the business hat off and just kind of seeing like the people, I see a lot of people like, oh, I don't have no Netflix, or like, or how much is it going to be? Or I see people like, oh, like they're not on board with the streaming, but let's be real. And John Alba has said this over the past couple months, like WWE's going to go to a streaming service. A lot of sports are going to a streaming service. Like we know this is the future. This is the way of the world. Like the old saying goes, and I certainly don't subscribe to this theory or work this way. That's not my way, but as the saying goes, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. And WWE's been firing on all cylinders, top merch sales, top numbers, top attendance. They brought in Punk as soon as he was available. Like, let's go. Let's do everything we can. What is it? 5 billion, 10 years. I know we're not talking the numbers, but
I'll give you some interesting numbers if you'd like to know.
Please.
So so I broke it down. So they're making $500 million a year, $9.6 million per episode of Raw, one for 3 hours.
Wait, so how much per episode again?
$9.6 million per episode. One episode of Stranger Things season 4, which lasted for an hour, cost $30 million. Now, 2 radically different audiences, but you're actually getting 3 episodes and change left over from WWE content as opposed to 1 hour of Stranger Things for the same amount of money. So I mean, that's how much they're like Netflix wins this deal. WWE does not win on the money side of it. Yes, they're getting more money. But Netflix, to me, this is the ultimate winner. You now have 52 weeks a year of content. Set it, forget it. And it's live. And we've seen what live has done for streaming.
And it's
Also,
not even including if they, I think I read somewhere that they are going to be doing specials too for
yes,
the channel.
documentary specials, which is wild because when I first subscribed to Netflix all those years ago, I used to get the WWE documentaries through them when they were just a disc mailing company. But also, what's going to be good for them is, Rob, like you were just saying, hey, I don't have a ton of money. I don't want to pay $20 a month, $22 a month for a non-ad tier. Well, join us for anywhere from $10 to $11 a month. They get $120 from someone who loves wrestling but can't really afford a huge package. But what do? Here comes the money, dollar dollar y'all, because they're gonna sell ads to all the big companies. So not only are they selling and getting your subscription, they are getting top money from advertisers, and they will see that Netflix is not dumb. They will see exactly who's advertising with WWE. They will get all those commercials because it is prime real estate, and they are also that international money they're going to get with they're not paying a ton for it. It's a lot that Netflix got for a little. It is a very smart investment. What does WWE get out of this? They take wrestling out of the proverbial smoke-filled arena. Vince McMahon did it 40 years ago with WrestleMania, and now TKO Group is doing it here because now they have taken wrestling off of what you could say is USA or Friday nights or wherever they are, or Peacock, which is a, not as reputable or popular, I should say, streamer, and they are now the biggest platform humanly possible. WWE is already the Coke of pro wrestling, and I don't mean that from a white powdery substance you put in your nose back in the 1980s. Some people do it now. But I'm saying it is like when you say pro wrestling, it's WWE. When you say soda, people say Coke, it's synonymous for soda. Xerox, synonymous for copy machines. That's what WWE has become. And because they've taken out of the now uh, content smoke-filled arena, that allows AEW hopefully to get a large money deal from Warner Brothers Discovery. That allows potentially a company like TNA to get a deal. What's stopping Viacom from saying, hey, you know what? Paramount Network doesn't have Yellowstone anymore, or Yellowstone's going to come back in different form. We don't have content. Hey, when we were Spike TV, look how much this show brought in ratings. Let's bring them in. I think it means more opportunities for wrestling to be on national, high-profile platforms making good money, which equals more jobs for more wrestlers, for more production people, for more writers, for more everyone. I think everyone does really well from this. WWE has always been a bit of a seek and destroy type of company, I believe, when it comes to pro wrestling. But I think this time it's going to really trickle down to everyone. And I think everyone has the potential to do really, really well because WWE is now in whatchamacallit, is now in the fold of Netflix, and you don't get much more high profile than that. And if you excuse me, I have someone I told goodnight to a while ago who's demanding I go downstairs. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, do your thing. Thanks, Bill, for bringing us in on that. And our good friend, Mr. Mike Mueller, pulling a Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, saying, let me in. What's up, Mr. Mike Mueller, Mr. Perfect of the BCP? How are you, sir? Rocking the merch.
Oh, I'm great. I'm rocking all the merch. I apologize for the echo and for all of the background noise, but at least I'm here. I tried to get here as quickly as possible. You know,
You're a busy
we
man.
gotta
Yeah,
we
go
gotta
ahead.
pay those bills. We gotta do other things first, but we got here as soon as we could.
Dude, it's so good to have you, man. This is a big rumble. We got lots to talk about. Real quick, obviously, I'm sure you heard the news this morning. You know what we're talking about. WWE Raw to Netflix. What was it, a $5 billion deal for 10 years? Your thoughts?
Yeah. So I mean, overall, and I apologize for the reverb, but overall, I think it's a good idea because ultimately, the more we can streamline everything with WWE, at least within the United States, I think it's a good idea because we've got NXT on CW, we've got SmackDown that's moving to USA, and then Raw is going to Netflix. We've got the premium live events that are still staying on Peacock. There's a lot of moving parts to it, and to me, the more we can synchronize this, at least from the United States, the better. I do have friends and fans who are overseas, and they love this because from a global standpoint, I think WWE made a great move because the more that we can put everything together in one piece, the better from a global standpoint, from a United States standpoint. It still is a little, everything's up in the air. I go here for Raw, I go here for SmackDown, I go here for NXT, I go here for the premium live events. There's a little bit of everything all over the place. But what we do need to understand is that right now we are, to to quote Biodome, we're thinking very locally, and we need to be thinking globally. And WWE is thinking globally, and what they're doing from their point of view makes a lot of sense. For us as the local fan base, it kind of sucks because we're like, wait a minute, I go here for this, I go there for that, I go there for that. It's a little bit of all over the place. But if you are someone from England or India or Australia or China, things are coming together. And as much as we want to bag on the misdirection of, directions coming from a lot of different places, if we do think of it globally, which is what WWE is doing for better or worse, they're synchronizing a lot of things. And it sucks for us in a local standpoint, but for my friends who are in England, for my friends who are in India, for my friends who are in Australia, they love this news because now everything is coming together and they can go to one place for all of the content. And for me in Detroit, Michigan, it sucks. From my buddy in London, England, from my buddy in Sydney, Australia, from my buddy in Beirut, it works for them. So who are we kind of to say that what they're doing is nonsensical when from a global standpoint, it does make sense. And it really does bring to the forefront this idea that for a long time we've considered WWE this local product, even through at least a national product. And now more than ever, they are really looking at it as a global product.
Right.
And yeah. So, and directly, yeah, for me, it sucks because now I need 5 streaming platforms versus 1 or 2. But for the people that are all over the place where everything's coming together, it makes a lot more sense for them. And we're a nation of 300 million people in a world of 6, almost 7 billion people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ultimately, we are a fraction of the product, and it serves a great larger number of people to do this. So, yeah, selfishly, I don't love it, but I understand from a business standpoint how it makes a lot more sense. And if WWE is trying to separate themselves as a global product versus a national product, yeah, I would do that too. So, yeah.
You got a lot of international premium live events. You got one in Paris, you got to have one in France where they do huge numbers. You got one in Australia. I think you're going to see a lot more international based pay-per-views coming forward, like even like the tentpole ones for sure.
Yeah.
Love the Biodome reference, by the way. Bonus points
Thank
for
you.
that, Mike.
Yeah.
Real quick in the chat, lots to talk about. We'll keep it moving here. Seth in the chat says Netflix probably gets more movie deals with WWE talent. Rock is already set to have 2 more sequels for Red Notice. There's also very easy cameo roles. Just paraphrasing here, we could see the Marines 6, 7, 8, and 9 starring R-Truth.
man.
Yeah, who knows? I'm here for R-Truth.
Starring R-Truth is the right call. And wow, man, I can't believe your son was in the other
I
room
know.
typing out that.
I know.
Smart. Lots of news on TKO and The Rock. We'll get into that in a little bit. I want to talk some matches here.
Oh, I got some hot takes about The Rock, so you're gonna love it.
Okay, I love it. I'm here for it. Let's start with this one. Logan Paul defending the United States Championship against KO. Amanda, I'm going to throw it to you first. What do you think about this matchup? Do you think Logan Paul loses the belt here to KO, or do you think maybe he's keeping it warm for somebody else? That was a leading question. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, well.
I like how you turned into Mario from the Super Mario Brothers movie right there. It was very Chris Pratt
know, it was
Italian of you.
It's me.
It's keep it warm.
Good
Good
movie.
job.
Good.
Very good. It's a clutch movie.
Great movie.
So I'm excited to see this match. Because I think KO is a great first choice for Logan Paul. KO brings a sense of legitimacy, prestige to the belt. So immediately, just by nature of him being KO and who he is and his accolades, he already elevates the US title. That's a given. And I think also for Logan Paul, this is going to be a different type of match. We're used to seeing, kind of the high flying power moves, the selfie kind of taking stuff, the social media stuff that's going to go viral. And I still think you're going to have a moment, but I really feel like this is going to be a case where he has to wrestle and not just rely on just lucha almost style moves. So I'm here for it. I'm curious to see how he does with the caliber of KO, because that is a very strong opponent. I feel like, again, since this is Logan Paul's first defense in 62 days, and Mike, I know you guys do stats, first defense.
It's over 60
over
days.
62.
It's a very lucha libre type of defended what we defended, dude.
So I see Logan Paul keeping it because, again, this is first title defense, and especially right now with all of the social media buzz going on, really Logan Paul trends, regardless of whether you hate him or love him, he is putting the belt in the media. I think he's just going to continue to build, especially being, on Raw. Netflix is going to take advantage of his social media following, even though Netflix, I think honestly, Logan Paul needs Netflix more, but it's something mutually advantageous. So I can see that happening. And again, I feel like Logan Paul is going to be elevated as a whole because of this experience with Kevin Owens. Do I think he's going to win clean? No, I don't. And I think we're going to see Jake Paul get involved. So
motherfucker, that's what I was
you got
say.
the Paul brothers?
That's going to happen.
So. That's going to happen. Again, with all the buzz going on right now, WWE is going to come out swinging. So sure. literally swinging now with the Pauls. So, but that's my thoughts on, and again, I've been enjoying the promos. I think there's a good amount of buzz and build up for this match. So it's gonna definitely be, I feel like this is gonna be the starting match.
Yeah.
To kick things off.
Yeah, it should be.
I love what you said about it being more of a fight instead of like a spot fest. Like that's a great point. Bill, you said you had some similar thoughts.
Yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, Jake Paul's coming out to this one. I know was early talk of him and Sami Zayn. No, sorry, him and LA Knight. But I'm like, man, I could definitely see the Paul brothers versus KO and Sami at a pay-per-view, if not WrestleMania down in Australia. Like that definitely could happen. I think this match is going to be very violent. I think this is kind of like what they're going to do here is play into every dad who's just like, why is Logan Paul a wrestler? What is this son of a bitch doing here? And Kevin Owens is going to like be every dad because he is a dad. And he's just going to beat the shit out of Logan Paul. But Logan Paul, listen, say what you will about his social media presence and what he is, and he is phenomenal in the ring. Like it is unfair how good he is this quick and this early in his career without as many matches. He gets it. And I think this is going to be a lot better. I think Logan Paul is going to show you how much of a beating he could take. And I think he's going to, as the kids would have said 20 years ago, respect will be put on his name because of this. Like, this is the one where you're like, wow, this guy really took a beating and he made it look good. But I do think Jake Paul is going to get involved because they're going to super serve this. WrestleMania is going to be, they're going to market the shit out of this thing. They're going to get sponsors and ads everywhere, so they're going to load this to the gills with names. So yeah, I think Logan Paul shows up tonight, and it'll get a big reaction. Probably heat, probably a negative reaction, for which they want. So yeah, I think we see Logan Paul gets the big retain here.
Yeah, real quick before I throw it to Mike in the chat, Jeffrey T. Fountain does our SmackDown reviews over on BCP Plus. Thank you, Jeffrey, for tuning in. Saying, relax, I'm here. Get part-time Logan off my darn wrestling, please. Mike, what do you think?
Okay, so I mean, I get it from we want to load this up with celebrities as much as we can heading into WrestleMania, and I'm for that. But to me, Logan Paul has done enough where whether Jake Paul shows up or not, I really don't want Jake Paul to show up here because I don't think he needs to. In my opinion, Logan Paul has done enough on his own to not need his brother.
I agree.
As far as moving a wrestling narrative standpoint forward. Yeah. And this really goes more than anybody, this goes to Kevin Owens for the credit. But ultimately, to me, I hate putting him in this position, but to me, Kevin Owens is here to make Logan Paul look good before he drops the title to LA Knight. That's where I'm at. I still have LA Knight winning over Logan Paul at WrestleMania. And a lot of things can happen at Royal Rumble, at the Raws in between, at Elimination Chamber, whatever you want to do. But ultimately, I don't see Jake Paul in this equation at all. I don't think it's necessary.
Oh, no, I don't either.
Right.
But I think it'll still happen.
And that is legit. And if they do bring him in, I'm not going to say I'm shocked. But what I am going to say is you have built a great storyline. Kevin Owens can carry a lot on his shoulders, especially with this broken hand. You have set up a brilliant situation where Logan Paul can get over clean over Kevin Owens because of this
injury,
so-called broken hand, which isn't real. But you can have him get over clean. You can have him move forward. You can have, not to jump ahead in this podcast, but you can have Roman Reigns stack everybody and still get to a point where LA Knight faces Logan Paul with no Jake Paul. Jake Paul has no business in the WWE. He really doesn't. You can insert him if you want to, and it's fine. You can make it make sense. But you can do this whole thing without him. And if I'm booking Raw, which of course I'm not, I'm sitting in Warren, Michigan. But if I'm sitting in Stamford, Connecticut, I'm saying we don't need Jake Paul. Logan Paul has done enough on his own with Kevin Owens, with LA Knight, with the United States title to where we can put a whole storyline between now and WrestleMania. And we don't need to include Jake Paul at all. And in my opinion, all he does is muddle things. All he does is diminish Logan Paul. All he does is diminish anybody who faces Logan Paul. And now all of a sudden, if we're not doing a Paul Brothers tag team match, which why would we do that while Logan Paul is the United States champion? All we're doing is watering down everything, including the title. I would much rather have, you've set it up perfectly, where Logan Paul can beat Kevin Owens clean because Kevin Owens has this broken hand. So you have the built-in excuse of why a pro wrestler would lose to someone like Logan Paul. You can have LA Knight get stacked because he takes everybody else's finisher and yada, yada, yada. So you get him out of the world title picture without truly losing his own credibility. And now you have a built-in match between him and Logan Paul at WrestleMania. And I don't know if we do something with KO and Sammy in a tag match at WrestleMania. I don't know where we go from there. But to me, if all of this is building to a point where we just excuse Logan Paul for getting away with a cheap win, I think we've diminished everything. And we don't need to diminish anything. Like, we've built this up perfectly to where he can get away with a clean win, and we're really not burying anybody. And we're also not putting him on this Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes level of invincibility. He's still very beatable. He's beating somebody who's hurt. So why do we need to convolute this with his brother, with Sami Zayn, with anybody else? Let him beat Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens is injured and move on from there. That's where I'm at.
Interesting. A lot of comments coming in while you're saying that, Mike. Welcome in Kelvin from the No Gimmicks podcast saying, yo, my brain isn't able to properly handle both of the Paul brothers in WWE. J Bone saying, I'd like to see both Paul brothers in the Rumble match. Kelvin also saying, I'm agreeing with Mike Mueller 1,000,000%. And Bubba John saying, I don't want to see Zayn and Owens in tag match at WrestleMania again. Good stuff, guys. Really, really great. Keep the comments coming. We want to know your theories because we're going to talk about the big title match where Roman is finally defending. And I think this is great booking here. I want to hear what you guys think against AJ Styles, who we have Randy Orton, and of course, whose game is it? LA Knight. This should be a good one. There it is. I'm excited for this one. Bill, you've been very positive today. Are you excited for this one?
To quote Dave Bautista, well, to quote the band Saliva, I walk to a pit of danger because this sucks. My God, just like I'm tuning out. I hope FTR versus the House of Black Elimination Cage is happening during this because I could give a fuck about this match. Because let me ask WWE fans something legitimate. Let me put the comedy aside for a second. You have a guy who defends his title 4 times a year. Seth Rollins is now not vacant 3. Oh, wow, 3. Even worse. You now have Seth Rollins not vacating his title. As people who watch WWE normally, are you guys like, hey, we don't get world titles anymore? How does everyone feel about that? Because like I would kind of be annoyed by it if I was a hardcore fan. Mike?
Yeah. No, I'm super annoyed by it. But there's this weird I'm super annoyed by it. I think Roman's gonna stack everybody. And if I'm honest, based on the way they built it, I think he should stack everybody. It doesn't mean it's what I want, but it's what makes sense as far as the story goes. I'm so with you. And I think that it was brilliant that WWE introduced a new title where they pretty much admitted, like, look, here's this one title that is the title, but it's going to be very rarely defended. And here's this other title that is very clearly the number 2 title. It's above the IC title, it's above the tag titles, it's above the US title, but it's not the Universal Championship. And this is going to essentially become the new Intercontinental Championship as far as what a workhorse does. It sucks now because we get to this point where Seth Rollins is quasi hurt, really hurt, it doesn't matter. But ultimately, the top title is rarely defended. And I don't like that as an old school person, as someone that, as you know from our Facebook chats, someone that's never going to defend the likes of Hulk Hogan or anybody else. But when you look at old school title defenders, they defend the title all the time, whether it's on TV, whether it's at house shows, whether it's premium live events, whatever. Now, all of a sudden, we're presented with this person who is shown to us in a light that's unbeatable, but we get him, what, 3-4 times a year? Like, that sucks. That sucks. And I'm not going to defend that. But if we're in this position where we rarely get him, the best that we can do is give him the hardest possible matches.
Oh no. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, as just like you're not gonna see titles defended that often. I just
No.
like I feel like it's a bad look for WWE.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I just
sorry.
I just went to a house show where literally there was one title defense that lasted 3 minutes,
Was it a
and
hardcore title?
it was a double DQ, and they turned it into a tag match, and that was one of the women's title matches. There was no other title matches presented in this whole show, and personally, it sucks.
Okay. So that's why I wanted to take the temperature here because, like, listen, I know I'm not the hardcore WWE fan anymore, but I keep seeing this and I feel like this is kind of robbing from the fan base a bit, in my
Sure.
opinion. In regards to this match, well, as copyright my good buddy Kenny Pete, this is the hey, some guys got on that good chicken and rice because I think Randy and AJ put on the muscle mass of my daughter over their spring breaks. Yeah, this match, if AJ Styles wasn't in this match, I would vomit on the podcast right now of just how boring and bullshit this match is. I think LA Knight can't put a wrist lock from a chain lock, but he doesn't need to because he is charisma personified. He is so over, and I'm so happy he's over. Been doing it for like 20 years. He's there. He's a main guy. But when it comes to wrestling, no one's confusing him with the American Dragon. Roman Reigns has become stale. He really has. He is so good at what he can do, but they just give him the formula. And Randy Orton, we all know how I feel about that. He is as boring as fucking paint drying, but he personifies what people in WWE love. It's the theme song, it's a signature pose, it's pop for the finish. That's what WWE really is outside of us nerds who like Gunther matches. So thank God AJ Styles is in this match. Roman Reigns obviously winning, and Bill Bodkin is winning because I will not be watching this match because I believe in self-care in 2024. So
Wow.
you wanted my
Cheers
negative
to
take.
that.
That's why I got everything else. I'm like,
It's
I'm
organic.
like kittens
Yeah.
and puppies for everything else. I'm so happy for this show. That one, that's them just punching me right in the wiener.
Not
So.
your cup of tea. And Kenny Pete must have heard you because as soon as you said that chicken and rice, Kenny Pete in the chat.
The ears. He gets it. He's got those ears, man.
It's wild. Bubba John, to Mike's point, was saying, hey, what happened to the old school of the titles being defended every 30 days? Yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole just now. Amanda, Roman's your guy. I'm excited for this match. Do you agree with Bill here? Do you think this is going to be a good one? Are you excited for this booking?
No, she's not going to agree with me. I'm a maniac.
Oh, no, but I love you.
I know.
But, well, to comment on the title situation a little bit, I agree with you guys. It does suck. I only think, though, that Seth Rollins is holding on to that title because we're going to talk about the Rumble, but CM Punk, that's the only reason. Otherwise, I think he would have relinquished it. But we'll get there. So with Roman, though, I agree. It sucks. I would love to see him actually defending on TV, on pay-per-views. I would love to see him do more. I would love to see more Roman, period, because I'm, that's my WWE hobby. My tribal chief. But with this match, though, like, yes, I know the thirst is real. Somebody has to be thirsty on this podcast, and it's my role.
Man.
Baby, you and me
My
both.
role.
You and me both.
Thank you. See, Mike understands. Mike's my, we're just like, I acknowledge you, Roman. For this match, though, I feel like this is not necessarily here to be a technical masterpiece at all. I don't think that's the point of this match. This is the whole point of the storytelling and the character, kind of the storyline type of story, the drama type of story. So I don't expect this to be a technical masterpiece by any means. Obviously, AJ is there to handle all of that load. So I'm glad he's there with you, Bill. Like, AJ is just one of the most, no pun intended, but phenomenally gifted wrestlers of our generation.
Yeah,
good, bad, like heel, face, whatever. He is just technically brilliant and just I will never get tired of watching him work in the ring ever. But I feel like, again, this is the storyline, the entertainment piece of this particular Rumble. And I feel like I like the fact that this is a stacked, in a way, technically storyline stacked card for Roman. This is the cream of the crop here. I mean, you have the most popular person in LA Knight in terms of, again, charisma personified. You said it beautifully, Bill. AJ with the technical the technical genius. And of course, I know how you feel about Randy, but yeah, I know, but for you, he does. But I mean, Randy has his own, he's homegrown. He's WWE homegrown, regardless of how people feel about him. I mean, he's this close to breaking that 16 world championship. I feel like he might be the one to do it before Cena. That's just how right now we're at peak Randy. I'm drinking the milk, I know, but peak Randy.
Is that what it's? Is that what it's called? Is that what we're saying, Your Honor?
Yeah. But with Randy, this is peak Randy right now. This is peak AJ. So I feel like you're going to get some fun spots out of this. I feel like obviously things are going to get crazy. Things are going to get chaotic. You're going to get several RKOs out of nowhere. That's the norm. For me, this is the first time, though, that I feel like, Roman is truly in danger of losing the title. And I feel like I really feel that way because of The Rock of it all. And if The Rock hadn't come out and hadn't shown up on SmackDown, cut his promo, we didn't have that moment. If The Rock now was not on the TKO board, and here he is, I feel like this wouldn't be happening. Roman would keep his title. But so I feel like The Rock is going to get involved. We're not going to see The Rock in the Rumble. Because there's no way. It wouldn't be fair to anybody else to put him in the Rumble, and we'll talk about that. But I feel like this is where he's going to get involved, and this is where the build, and they're already building it in the media, but the build to WrestleMania for Roman and The Rock begins in this match. So I think The Rock is going to get involved, cost Roman the title, and I feel like the title is going to drop to one of the other three. Bill, you're going to hate me, but I feel like it's going to wind up going to Randy Orton.
I think that is 100% not going to happen. And here's why. They are obsessed. First off, if you do that, you're going to take Cody Rhodes out to the back of the woodshed, and you're going to shoot him like old Yeller. Because if you're going to tell me Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton literally stabbed me, because I just
I'm going to have to stab you then. I'm going to have to
because
stab you.
I hate Randy Orton.
He was in such a good mood today.
It's terrible.
I know. Well, I'm going to go
there's a
for Randy.
story. I know what the story is. And then, there was a great story for Cody last year, and everyone shit down my throat saying he had to suffer more, and then Triple H agreed with everyone because he obviously listens to this podcast.
So you were wrong, and everybody else was right.
Oh, yeah, because they said he'd need to suffer more, which is the most illogical booking I've ever seen. When his whole story was he suffered, and now you're gonna make me suffer by having to watch
I'm
Randy
going to make
Orton
you suffer, and here's why I'm going to make you suffer.
I just want to say I called that. That's all I want to say.
I'm going to make you suffer. And here's why. Because somebody has to be able to stand up. This is the title that Roman goes in public with. Like, he goes on entertainment shows with. He has this social media presence. So even if he's not wrestling, he's on all the talk shows. He's doing, he's trending for outside stuff, And so out of the three competitors in this match, the only person who has that name brand recognition, the only person who can go around and talk around, he's got the looks, regardless of how people feel, he's got the looks.
Yeah.
He's a trendsetter. But he trends on social media too, very, very well. I think even more so than AJ and LA.
Yes, he does.
And and we need a face champ.
Yeah.
At this point, we've had this title has been in the hands of a heel champion for so long. If AJ was face, I probably would say differently. But I also don't think he is, and I also don't think AJ has. I don't think AJ has the marketability than Randy Orton does. He doesn't. We're just going to see Billy Ray Cyrus memes everywhere. I hate to say it, more so, like triple more so than than what we currently see right now, which I get a kick out of those, by the way.
Together?
Yeah, you never saw you saw.
Oh.
No, we're gonna be bombarding you with these memes now, Bill. I see them all the time. I die laughing every time. I'm like, thank you for whoever came up with that meme at first. You make my life so much better. But I feel like Randy Orton is the only one right now. If they had built LA Knight more and maybe had waited before feeding him to Roman, LA probably could have done it. But I feel like Randy's the only one who's capable at this point. And that way it takes the title off of Roman. So it is not a factor when he loses at WrestleMania to The Rock. Wow. Because that's going to be, they need to get that title off Roman. And this is a big enough pay-per-view to do it with the caliber of opponents to do it. So I love my tribal chief, Roman. I love you forever. But I'm going to have to go against you this time. I'm sorry. And I'm going to have to go with Randy Orton. But that's my whole thing there for that match.
Bill was in such a good mood. He was being very
I told
positive.
you this is the one match that's just gonna piss me off, because it is like every bugaboo I have. It's like old ladies in bear traps. It's just like that's what this match is, and I'm like,
as long as your ass doesn't explode, and there's an inside joke on that,
which is a different story. It's an inside joke from another podcast that hasn't even been released yet. So yeah,
exactly.
In the chat, Bubba John, real quick. Yes, Bill Bodkin. Thank you. I thought it was just me. Wow. People agreeing with Bill here. Kelvin agreeing with Amanda. Amanda has a point. Roman versus The Rock doesn't need the title, and Cody can finish the story, but that requires Cody to win the Rumble. He won't. Interesting. Kenny Pete in the chat saying Randy versus LA Knight in a super pose down, brother. All right. Yeah. So the chat's blowing up. We're having some fun. Before I throw it to Mike, I'll just say real quick, I like the booking here. You have 4 really top-tier contenders here. I don't see LA Knight taking it away. I don't see Roman losing the title here. This is a situation I like the booking with the 75% chance Roman doesn't need to be pinned or submitted to lose the title thing here. I think it's a great story for a Royal Rumble, especially. We usually concentrate on the Rumble matches, and the heavyweight title matches or the main title matches are usually an afterthought. I think this is really good. And I'm just going to say this now. The dynamic between Roman and Nick Aldis has been brilliant. I'm not going to take Nick Aldis out of this situation. I know we talk about Heyman, the Bloodline, possibly The Rock coming back. The dynamic between Nick Aldis and Roman has been great. I can't wait to see them square up in some form or fashion down the line. I think it's been brilliant. So don't, take your eye off that. That being said, I do think Roman retains here in a really good match. I'm actually here for this one. I think AJ's going to, and you're right. Bill, Randy's going to hit his spots. You're right. I think AJ's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. LA Knight's going to have the crowd behind him. He's going to hit his spots as well. But I think this is actually going to be really, really fun. But I do think Roman retains. Real quick, Roman wins. Mike Ferrer in the chat. And I'll throw it to you, Mike Mueller.
Sure. So here's the beauty of this year's Royal Rumble. Because of that other world title and because of all of these other moving pieces, we actually have a situation where the winner of the Royal Rumble could literally be anybody. But in my opinion, we need to move backwards from the winner of the Royal Rumble. We need to address that last. The first thing we need to address is the Universal title, which Roman Reigns has, and I do believe Roman Reigns is going to win, and I believe he's going to win by stacking everybody, because I've been wrong twice in 4 years of predicting Roman Reigns, and I will never be wrong again. Pick Roman Reigns, you win.
All right.
Period. Stack everybody, and if you do it in a proper way, you actually don't diminish anybody.
No.
Because all you do is truly elevate Roman Reigns to this level where Roman Reigns can go on. He's already beaten LA Knight. I guess no disrespect to AJ Styles, but I'm going to disrespect that AJ Styles. AJ Styles hasn't been relevant in 7 years.
Wow.
He's not going to be. We act like he is because we want him to be, because he's worthy of being relevant. But the way he's been presented, is not relevant. And then you have Randy Orton, Randy Orton could get his 15-16 title at any time, and it would be fine. But we're not going to do that against Roman Reigns. He's going to stack everybody. And whether he faces The Rock or Cody Rhodes or CM Punk or Gunther or anybody else, Roman Reigns is entering WrestleMania 40 as the champion. And I'm sorry, he's leaving WrestleMania 40 as the champion.
He is. Yeah.
Period.
He is.
It doesn't matter who he faces.
I
What
agree.
we have to do is see this as a one-off. This is literally a stepping stone for him to get to a better spot at the Royal Rumble. I think the winner of the Royal Rumble is not going to face Roman Reigns. The winner of the Royal Rumble is going to be involved in the World Heavyweight title match. That's going to happen because if anybody wins the Royal Rumble and faces Roman Reigns, it's going to be The Rock. And if it's going to be The Rock, I'm going to cry, and I don't feel like crying. So we're going to get The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania without the Royal Rumble being in the picture. I see either, you've got three people that can win this, in my opinion, that can win this Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes.
Do you want to save it? Do you want to save it, or you want to get into it now?
Yeah.
You want to get into it?
I'm down with whatever.
Do you know what? Finish your thought. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Look at this guy sitting over there.
Yeah.
He's like, go ahead. Finish it.
What
do you got?
Yeah, finish it.
No,
What
but
is that?
the point is
It's like
we've
Leisure
been
Rob.
so conditioned to assume that the winner, because of the past, the winner of the Royal Rumble goes on to face the main champion. And I'm sorry to Seth Rollins, I'm really not. But the main champion.
Oh man, you're burning it down right now.
What the fuck ever. He's whatever. He's the third best person on Raw. The winner of the Royal Rumble. The winner of the Royal Rumble is going to face the World Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns is going to stack everybody, and who Roman Reigns is going to face is the person who wins the Elimination Chamber. So what we're really doing is thinking about who is the second-tier champion and who's going to face the second-tier champion. And in my opinion, that's three people. That's Gunther, that's Cody Rhodes, that's CM Punk. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It sucks that Seth Rollins is in this hurt position. I don't know where they're going to go about this. But ultimately, if the winner of the Royal Rumble faces Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, it's going to be The Rock. And I don't want that. I don't want The Rock anywhere near the Royal Rumble. So I see The Rock facing Roman Reigns for no other reason than he's The Rock and Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. And we can just set that aside. The Royal Rumble is about the World Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns stacks everybody. The only person who can ultimately face him is The Rock. Because everybody else on the roster, he's either beaten or, I'm sorry, hasn't earned the right to face him. AJ Styles has not earned the right to face Roman Reigns. Randy Orton.
That WCW Cruiserweight Tag Team Tournament match guarantees him a shot. God damn it.
Was that the same tournament that Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko were in?
No.
That was later?
Yeah, it was later.
Okay. I'm thinking 99. All right. Well, then no disrespect to his Cruiserweight Tag Team tournament. Legacy, which is unblemished. But even with that, what I'm saying is we've now reached a point where, in my opinion, nobody on the current roster has earned the right to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. The only person who is there is The Rock. And The Rock does not need anything with the Royal Rumble in order to earn that spot. So let's just put all of that aside. And now let's focus on the world title match. Whether Seth Rollins is healthy or not, you've got three people who, in my opinion, are worthy of a world title match at WrestleMania. That's Cody Rhodes, who, if Cody Rhodes wants to truly finish his story, the world title doesn't matter. Now we're down to CM Punk and Gunther. If I'm booking it, I've got CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble and going on to WrestleMania to beat Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins insists on continuing wrestling. But ultimately, this comes down to a point where nobody, in my opinion, nobody on the current roster has been built in a way where they deserve to dethrone Roman Reigns. The only person who's on the outside of that bubble that's even a possibility is The Rock. And I don't see The Rock winning. But to me, anybody else who faces Roman Reigns, you're in a no-win situation. If you beat Roman Reigns, why didn't you beat him before? If you lose to Roman Reigns, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. That's where I'm at.
I
So,
agree with you, Mike, and here's why. Because I've mentioned this at other places. I think the Universal title essentially becomes the celebrity title, where
Yeah.
it's very defended very rarely. You're going to see someone like The Rock, someone like a Tyson Fury, a name from another place, a UFC or whatever, coming in and winning that, and it's being this very rarely defended celebrity status title that's around there. By the way, I do think we're going to see The Rock in Philadelphia. He'll be in a box somewhere. Here's the Roman said, because he did purposely say, The Rock said, he's like, I'm at the head of the table now because
Yeah.
he's on the board. I'll have a whole thing on The Rock in a little bit, but he'll say there, he's like, I'm the head of the table. And Roman says, I'm the real head of the table. And
Yeah.
he'll add the word bitch at the end of it because it's wrestling. You have to. So I do think we're going to see The Rock involved, like there to receive the insult. I think this executive board thing was not a last minute decision. I think this has all been a carefully orchestrated plan here. And I do agree with Mike as well about how this is going to be for the World Heavyweight title because again, sorry Cody, you're not going to have that title. He's to me Cody's the only one who should be fighting for that title, but it's not going to happen because of The Rock. And so that's what I think. I agree with Mike on that. And it's listen, they got a stacked card, they have a stacked roster, so it's gonna be really interesting. And I think you're gonna get a lot of presence on that. Rob, before we get into, do we get to all the matches?
yeah, and
So
I'll let you do. I was just going to read the comments on Mike's thing, and I'll throw it back to you real quick.
yeah,
Mike is going scorched earth from Kelvin. J Bone, real quick.
he has seen Kelvin must be a new viewer because
No,
I could
Calvin's been around,
I've
but he knows how I roll.
He knows the deal. J Bone saying it's not Vince's WWE anymore. Triple H runs the show, so there's another path to the main event, and Mania Elimination Chamber will matter. Big time. Reese saying hi, Rob, Bill, Mike in a minute. Reese, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while.
What up, Reese?
And we're seeing some Rumble picks. Yeah, guys are getting into the Rumble picks already. Bill, I know you had something to say. Throwing it back to you, bro.
Well, I think before we get into our Rumble matches, so we can all get our lists together and everyone can do it, we do have to address The Rock in the room that he has been elected to the executive board and the board of directors of the TKO group. And for me personally, I think this is one of the most brilliant things that WWE has ever done because you know what they have in The Rock? They have wrestling's Walt Disney now because everyone loves The Rock. You know who
Sure.
people don't love? Vince McMahon,
Yeah.
because Vince McMahon is famous for not getting along with the media. There is like a bunch of controversy about the size of the state of Rhode Island surrounding him throughout his tenure, and he is still associated with the smoky arena, grimy back alley business of professional wrestling, where The Rock was there for a few years. He said some controversial things that you can write off as it was the Attitude Era. The 90s were a thing. He grew
Say a
up.
lot of things about what he said in the Attitude Era.
Yes, you could, but it's easily spun. It's easily written off. And what has he become? He's become an action star. He's become box office. He has friends in the media. He knows media. He has media training. He's like Echo from Marvel. He walks between multiple worlds. He can be in the sports world. He could be in the entertainment world. He could talk on CNBC. He could talk in there. He is now the forward. I don't care what you say about Roman Reigns. The Rock is the face of WWE. He is Walt Disney now. He is the guy that will be in front of everyone and everything positive that has to be done with WWE. It's not Ari Emanuel. It's not Nick Khan. It's not Triple H. It's not Vince McMahon. It's Dwayne Johnson now. And they gave him the Rock name purposely to endear wrestling fans to be like, oh, they care about wrestling. It's going to have ears being pricked up by old casual fans who are like, what, The Rock? He's going to be there, and this is going to work with Netflix. This is going to work with everything, and it's absolutely brilliant. And that's why, and it also helps Dwayne because listen, Black Adam was a flop. He did not get good press coming out of that on his rumored takeover of the DC film industry. He also listened the football leagues didn't work well, but what did work well for him?
His football league worked fine. He was XFL.
He
XFL
did.
worked. USFL did not.
Well, a modicum of success, let's just say. But you know what he was able to do? Take Terramana Tequila and make $1 billion out of it. The dude knows how to market everything.
Sure.
So I think he will be such a big part of WWE. And I think that's why we're going to see him at WrestleMania. But guys, I want to get your opinions on The Rock going corporate. He's back in the corporation, guys. He's back. The corporate elbow is back, and I hope that joke was made by someone. Rob, I know you're always so quiet on these podcasts, even though you host it. What do you think about old Dwayneski getting the old rub?
Copy and paste, man. I think it just makes sense.
Jesus
Firing on
Christ,
all, it makes sense, man. It's like I was talking earlier, putting the business hat on. It makes a lot of sense. You even used it in what you were saying. He really is the head of the table now. I didn't see this coming. I woke up this morning, I got the little press release, and I'm like, he's on the board. Like, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to challenge Roman at WrestleMania or this and that. And then he's on the board. I'm like, okay. And it makes a lot of sense. I think him being able to get his name and ownership of his name, I think I was watching a clip on social media. He was saying how important that was to him and the people at TKO, and they were on, the importance of family, this and that. But you could tell that meant a lot to him too. It's just, man, it's win, 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 win. All he does is win right now, and it just makes sense, man. I'll keep it short and sweet. I don't see any negative here.
Mike, I feel like you would like to go next.
I would very much like to go next. So here's my thing. Before Rock was announced to the board of TKO, I was very concerned that he was going to win the Royal Rumble and he was going to go on to WrestleMania. Now at this point, I truly feel like he's less inclined to be a talent. Maybe he still is. I don't know. But this is now giving very take your pick, Vern Gagne, Bill Watts, anything else where like I'm the head of the board of the thing and now I'm going to be in the main event. It just is, to me, now that he has such a major corporate role, in my opinion, it looks very bad if he then is also in the main event. He doesn't need to be. He still could be. But my biggest fear was The Rock winning the Royal Rumble and going on to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He may still face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but I am more confident than ever that he is not going to be in the Royal Rumble and win it. Because if you have a person on the board of a company that is in charge of a lot of shit, and you're a board member and you win that, and we're all very aware of it. We live in the social media world. We live in a world where everybody knows what's going on behind the scenes. To me, there's no benefit. So right. I'm more confident than ever that he's not going to win the Royal Rumble.
He's not.
And and selfishly, as just a pure wrestling fan, that's all I really care about. So
I do feel like 20 pounds came off your shoulder when you had that realization. Yeah. Like he was like, it's just some breathing. He's doing some circular breathing. He's really getting the anxiety out right now, guys. But as we do on Socially Distance every Friday on thepopbreak.com, Amanda, close us out on your thoughts on The Rock. And do you see him becoming a new age Mr. McMahon character?
I definitely see him being the face of the board for sure. I mean, it was a brilliant move, like you said, Bill. Brilliant. Like I was like, there could be no smarter move than to put The Rock on the board. One, he knows how to talk in public. He's great at it. He connects with his followers. I mean, really, he's going to bring a ton of people, if they're not following from wrestling already, but from his other endeavors, into the TKO lineup here. So, I mean, he's going to be the one that's like, he's already good at connecting with the public. And I think we're going to get a lot of activity about what's going on in the TKO world in general from The Rock. So brilliant from a social media marketing standpoint. I of course, what I really like about him is the business acumen. that he brings. Again, you brought up the tequila brand, but The Rock understands business, whether he's succeeded or failed or whatnot. Well, compared to other people that
When
could have
you
brought
said
in.
you're like, The Rock understands business, I just
The Rock,
heard it in
yeah.
his voice. So
I said it that way, actually. I wish I could.
The Rock says.
The Rock says. But I love the fact that he has that business acumen. And so he's not just going to be a figurehead. I really feel like he's going to be hands-on in the direction of where TKO goes with WWE. Of course, he understands WWE and the business. And so I think, with Triple H, they can bring that wrestling knowledge, or at least like keep it wrestling based where it's not so entertainment based. But like you said, Bill, he walks in all the worlds here and all the different paths. But again, I think that business acumen he brings is a huge asset. And so brilliant choice with bringing The Rock on board. I'm here for it. And like you, Mike, I really don't see him even entering the Rumble, to be fair.
Question though?
Did I see it before? No. I think he's.
So you saw it never the whole time.
I never saw it.
Even after he came out and said, "Do you want me to face the head of the table?"
Too much risk for injury.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Well, that.
Okay, I'm going to make a counterpoint to that.
But
Vince McMahon blew his quads out.
Vince McMahon blew his quads out by walking. All right, that has nothing to do with anything. Let's talk. You want to talk about risk? Okay, we're not talking about
hell of a board game.
Never always start as Australia. But either way, regardless, if you want to talk about risk and you want to talk about the Royal Rumble and you want to talk about people that have come in at a point, I mean, 30 has now been the most winning spot, which whatever, it's fine. But here's a bigger point, and here's where I was going at before. Once Rock announced TKO, I'm like, okay, he's not in the Royal Rumble. But here's some numbers that you may not realize. As far as we're talking about the Royal Rumble, people that have never won from a spot in the Royal Rumble, you got 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 15, whatever. That's the first half. Men's, not women's. Men's, never won. But you're telling me that before The Rock came out, you couldn't see The Rock in this year saying, "Do you want me to beat the head of the table?" Blah, blah, blah. He couldn't come in at 20, 21, or 26. These spots have never won from the Royal Rumble. And I'm telling you, before The Rock was announced as the head of the TKO board, I'm like, Rock's coming in at 20 and he's winning.
Okay.
All right. Interesting. Real quick, Amanda, I know you were saying something about The Rock.
I feel like he still has movie contracts, I'm sure. And I feel like those clauses are still in effect. Even though he's on the board, even though he's got his hand in other business pots, he is still an actor ultimately. And I don't think he would do anything to put, I could see him again doing the runoff with Roman the one time, because they're going to do a lot of like talking. I think that their match would be a lot of talking, a lot of like posing, I don't see a lot of technical moves. I see The Rock, throwing his usual, people's elbow. You're going to get The Rock being The Rock at that point. I don't see a full athletic match. So, I mean, that's something, that Roman can handle at this point. So I don't. So it runs that minimal risk of injury to The Rock.
Yeah, because remember when he fought the Wyatt family that one time, it was like 4 seconds, the quickest match in WrestleMania history. He destroyed his entire pelvis or something like that. I mean, it was.
But you look at a lot of the Royal Rumble is just wasting time.
Agreed.
So like all I'm saying, like he doesn't. Again, I don't think he's going to be in, but I was very concerned. And you can put anybody in the Royal Rumble and very much protect them. Fuck, the year Edge won the Royal Rumble 2021. Randy Orton spent 95% of that on the outside. Came in, he was the last person eliminated.
You're making my argument for me, thanks.
But that's what I'm saying, is you can protect anybody can enter the Royal Rumble. They can be in for literally the entire time, and you don't actually run any real risk of injuring them, because they can literally sit in the corner, or they can be on the outside, or they can do anything that doesn't injure them.
But they can't do that with The Rock, though.
Why?
They
why
can't
not?
do that with The Rock.
Because I think The Rock is too much of too much. I'm going to prove I can still do it type. He's like, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go wrestle my ass off.
That and I think people are
Then
going to
put him in
expect
at
to do it.
26.
So
Yeah, it's also Irish paranoia on my
That's
part.
7 minutes. You're looking at 2 minutes apiece, 26, 27, 29, 30. Sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 10 minutes. That's a 10-minute match that technically The Rock has to wrestle. Kick ass, win, and get to the Royal Rumble. Let's not forget, before The Rock had this thing with John Cena, he was in a tag team match with John Cena against The Miz and R-Truth. That tag team match was over 10 minutes. The Rock was in that match for about 10 minutes.
All right.
He was
Well,
fine.
So real quick, rapid fire. Do you guys think? I know we're talking about him being in the Rumble. If that would be a smart place for him, do you guys think The Rock will be present in some form or fashion in Tampa this Saturday? Yes or no?
100%.
Just yes or no. Amanda?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Laura. I think so too. Okay.
Yes.
So that's very interesting. Good theories here. I was going to go into the women's Rumble, but I feel like we've covered so much of the men's Rumble already by default. Let's just do it now. Let's get into it. A lot of people in the chat saying Gina saying Damian will cash in on Roman. I didn't see that earlier. Very interesting. Lots of chat on The Rock. We'll catch up in just a minute. I want to talk about your guys, not only winners, but I want to talk about surprises, and I want to talk about moments. We've covered a lot of it so far. I think it was Emil. Let's see if I can scroll up. Emil in the chat. He was saying how excited he was for this build. Real quick, I think this is one of the best built Rumble builds in a while. Looking forward to the Rumble in WrestleMania this year. Yeah, I am excited for this Rumble. I'm not going to lie. I think there's easily 3, maybe even 4 people you could pick to win the Rumble here. It's going to be, it's going to be a tough call. It's interesting. A lot of directions we can go here. Bill, I'm going to start with you. If you got any surprise returns.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
I got one at least I know of. I'm pretty confident. I think it's Andrade. I think Andrade comes back. He comes back to a fairly strong reaction. I think he's going to come out and have, he'll have a nice 10-minute, 15-minute run. In regards to other surprises, oh brother, if they bring, fuck man, Hogan said he's got one more in him, and he's from the area. Man, I could see them thinking about pulling it off, but you can't have him go over the top. He's too old, man. He's just too old. I think maybe I'm just saying from all his surgeries, his neck, his back, it would be gross negligence to do that, in my opinion.
Let's do it then.
I love the way you think, Mike. But I think the only other people that would be a surprise, and I think people are really going to hate when I say this name, is Brock Lesnar. You're not having Mania without Brock.
Sure.
So I think Brock comes back, and
he'll fight whoever eliminates him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll be Gunther.
Oh.
And
You're right.
Gunther doesn't really have a match right now, and I thought eventually it was going to be this Gunther Gargano type, Andre the Giant Hulk, big man, little man type thing, but they have not positioned Gargano to be anything more than a tag team guy.
DIY is in the tag match, and they're fine. What do we think about Okada?
No, I don't think Okada
going AEW all the way.
From what they reported on Fightful, he has not even made a decision.
Right. So let's speculate.
Oh, I think he's going to AI. Like, you want to see depressed Bill? Okada shows up. The rumors are true. Okada shows up at the Rumble, then spends time in NXT feuding with fucking Baron Corbin. Then you'll just see. Then it'll just see me cry. I don't know if he can contractually. I know he has some dates left with New Japan. I don't know what the deal is there. I don't think he's going to do it. I think though it is going to be Brock. I think it is going to be Andrade, and I think you're going to hate my prediction on who's going to win. I think you've got a huge Bret Hart mark in this match being CM Punk, and I think Cody Rhodes and CM Punk eliminate each other at the end, and we now have those two guys have to fight it out. And we're
Bret Hart Luger 94 style?
Oh yeah. I really think we're going to see Yep, because I'm sitting there saying we had this promo between Cody and Punk, which at times was good and at times was boring as balls, because I wanted just to get nasty. Just Cody Rhodes held back a little bit. I think he could have really cut into Punk a little bit more, because I think Punk had some good shots on him when he did say I am more CM Punk than CM Punk.
Yeah.
I was like, you really could have really leaned into that
But
one.
if we're building to WrestleMania, we got months for that.
Yeah, but I'm also saying that I think they're going to eliminate each other, and that's going to be the crutch of what's going to be the match here for that world title. Because I honestly don't, that's how I just see it. I just have this feeling they're going to go for it to make a controversial end because the
Sure.
audience is so split.
Sure.
And that's going to cause so much drama. Who's going to win? It didn't work with Luger and Hart because Luger wasn't the guy.
Correct.
He never was the guy in WWE. WWF back then. But
So you,
I think it's Cody and Punk. Who comes out of that mess? I'm not the one to say, but I do think that it's going to be a very let's say conflicted finish that has to be meted out because that will also cover the absence of Seth Rollins because that'll buy you time to be like, okay, can Seth come back? He
Sure.
can't. Okay, we can pivot and make it work this way.
Is
That's who I think.
within that,
There's no winner. I say Cody and Punk eliminate each other, and we have a fucked finish.
So I was gonna
okay.
Oh, and so there's no clear cut
No
after
clear-cut
that.
winner. Nope.
Then within that, I am curious about that because honestly, I kind of love that. I'm not gonna lie. If
I'm here for the chaos.
They've only done it earnestly. They've only done it once. You had Cena and Batista, but that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And we got a double quad blowout, which personally I love. But if that happens, I'm curious, where does, in your opinion, at all, does Gunther factor into this?
He's got Brock Lesnar.
I think he said, yeah, Brock's.
I think
He'll
it's
eliminate
Brock.
Brock,
I
and that'll.
Are they
you
the
do Brock.
final? Are they the final four? And then
I think Gunther is probably going to end up there, but I don't think he makes it to the final three. Who the final four is, I couldn't tell you. I know what it would be. I would put money on Punk, Cody, Gunther, and I don't know who the fourth person would be. To be honest with you, maybe Finn Balor. Maybe somebody who's gonna beat the. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he sticks around, or maybe Drew McIntyre. So one of those guys maybe is in the fourth.
Drew is better served by getting screwed over, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which could definitely happen in the fourth spot too. So I really just couldn't pick a winner here. So I'm just like, why not both? And let's cover they're now covering their asses for Seth Rollins, because if Seth Rollins comes back, could you make it a three-way? Yeah. Can you hold the title up?
Yeah.
There you go.
And this is, by the way, I do want to say this is the beauty of two quote unquote main titles, even though I'm sorry, the World Heavyweight title will never be as relevant as the Universal title as long as Roman holds it. But the beauty of this is now so many more options are available as far as who could win the Royal Rumble, because you have two champions, you have all of this stuff going around it. Bill, I love your idea. I am so I wasn't
you know what? I love it too.
Of course you do.
It's a great idea.
I wasn't really thinking about it in that regard as far as like a 94 finish. I'm fine with it if it exists. I'm still going CM Punk clean, and you can work Cody into it. You can work Gunther into it. You can work Seth Rollins into it. You can work Roman Reigns into it. I just feel like you get the most legs out of the winner if it's CM Punk.
Any surprises you got, Mike?
Oh, so I love the idea of Andrade. And by the way, if Andrade wins, if Andrade enters, I want him to win. He's not going to, but I don't care. Andrade is mi idolo, and he's mi cortisone, and all of that, and I love him. I could see Okada, although I do think he's going to end up in AEW. I'm shocked they haven't brought Braun Breaker onto the main roster. I mean,
someone from NXT is definitely going to be in it.
You could put Carmelo, but he's already been in the U.S. title, and if I'm bringing anybody up from NXT, it's Braun Breaker. As far as outside appearances go, by the way, I don't think it's necessarily best for the Royal Rumble, but if Cody Rhodes is not fighting for the world heavyweight or the universal title at WrestleMania, in my opinion, there's only one person he should be facing.
Dustin Rhodes.
No. I mean, sure, but no. Matt Cardona. I
wouldn't be
if you
stunned
want
if he showed up.
people to pop and freak out, bring Matt Cardona in. Do exactly what you were saying with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, but instead have them eliminate each other at like the 4, 5, 6 spot. Have CM Punk win, have him do his thing with Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns or whoever. And if there's 3 matches, in my opinion, 4 that I'm interested in for Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, which at this point I don't think is happening, although I want it. Seth Rollins, because it's a title. CM Punk, because that story is written. Or give me someone from the outside. Could be Okada, but I'm with you. I think Okada is doing AEW, other stuff. I don't really see him working in WWE. I think if there was ever a time to bring Matt Cardona in and do something with him, you have this built-in story of 2 people who made their name on the indies, worked their way up, took different routes, but ended up in the same place, would get the same reaction from the WWE universe. Yeah, Bill, tell me why I'm wrong.
Oh no, I have a bad neck, so I was cracking. Sorry. But no, I think what you would have to do is, and I think Rob and Amanda will probably back me up on this, is if you're going to do this with Matt Cardona, you have to make Matt Cardona a killer. You have to make him not Zack Ryder. He has to win a lot of matches. You have to let him be a shit heel and do what he's doing. You need to bring Steph DeLander back with him to be like, just go full, commit to it fully. And I don't know if they're going to do that. And
maybe not, but I don't think he needs to win. I don't think Matt Cardona needs to win shit beforehand. You just have to present him in that shit heel way.
Well, I think, it's just you have to make him feel special and not just a rehash of Zack Ryder.
Right.
Yeah.
No woo woo woo, no Long Island, no internet champion, none of that. But I think you can present him in that way because the beauty of Matt Cardona, and it was the beauty of Cody Rhodes, where most of the people that follow independent wrestling, that sort of thing, they're more drawn to the AEW brand because they cater to that. And they should. They understand what they have and what they can offer. One of the few exceptions to that are people who originally came from WWE, and that's a very small pool. And in that pool is Cody Rhodes and is Matt Cardona. Don't bring him back as Zack Ryder. No, I think that's a giant mistake. But I'm someone who doesn't follow, honestly, I don't follow a lot of independent wrestling. I don't follow a lot of international wrestling. But I'm very much aware, even as a mainstream wrestling fan, I'm very much aware of what he has done and has been doing. And so to me, if you're going to bring anybody up, and if you're going to have Cody Rhodes do anything at WrestleMania besides fight for the world title, Matt Cardona is a perfect pick for me.
Interesting. Very interesting. Amanda, I want to hear what you have to say about the Rumble and any surprises you might have.
Well, I definitely agree with everybody that Andrade is going to be. He was one of the first names that I've written for sure. I was like, oh yeah, he's going to show up. He win now, but he will show up. I think Jake Paul's may have a spot. Is he going to be in it for a long time? No, but he's just going to come in with massive heat.
Huge reaction.
Yeah, for the heat factor. Will he stay in it long? No. And whoever he puts over with the elimination is going to get a massive pop. So they're going to use him to push someone, to push over maybe a new babyface or just to kind of. Yeah, anybody to eliminate Jake Paul. Anybody. But I feel like Jake Paul's going to show up. That's why I felt like he was going to get involved in the Logan Paul match earlier, because then he would bring that additional heat to the Rumble. So I feel like, we are going to see some people from NXT for sure. I'm curious if Lexis King is going to come up. Wow. That's my guess.
Be a good
just
spot.
to like, that was the first person I thought of. I was like, because of who he is, and you're trying to draw eyes. It's what a great way for him on a stage and this type of platform, because again, we have people that come up from NXT, they hang in there for a bit, they do well, and it's a great introduction for them, and it's another way to get them more mainstream when they're getting ready to come up to the main roster. So Lexis King I can absolutely see coming up and having a good little,
he'd be a great number 7.
yeah, like mid, like 7 to like 10
You were right
Yeah.
with that word mid right there.
Mid. That's fine, but that's fine.
Oh,
Mid should not be
good.
a diss.
But with Lexis King though, he has the name legacy here, so I mean, people automatically still think Pillman no matter
Sure.
what. So that's why I think Lexis King is going to be one. I'm kind of thinking we may see Dragunov for a little bit.
Oh, that'd be fucking awesome.
I think he will go quite a bit if he gets in there. He's going to
That's his
go,
whole thing.
and it's going to be some kind of massive, like, controversial, somebody from NXT I think is going to eliminate, but I feel like the champions sometimes they have in the past get highlighted, so it's like, why not have him in here? It's going to be massive.
Amanda, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What about if, Gunther already said he's going to be in, and they're putting him in this position for a world title spot, but if they don't, what about Dragunov versus Gunther for the IC title at WrestleMania?
I'm here for that. That match is going to be iconic.
They've done it a few times. I've seen it.
They've done it on a smaller level.
They have,
and it's kicked ass every time.
Yes, so I'm here for it. I can see them. I can see one Gunther maybe eliminating him, or again, I think an NXT continuity could happen here. But I think absolutely, I feel like we're going to get Dragunov just for the reaction, the pop, and again to get him ready more so. I think to go to the main roster. I also feel like I could see Brock Anderson showing up.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I was thinking about, like, okay, who from AEW is no longer on the roster as of recent? Who's kind of, I looked at like QT Marshall with somebody else, but I was like, you know what? No, Brock Anderson, because of the name recognition with Arn. Will we see the bunny come in? I don't think so. I think it's just going to be Brock.
He better be wearing a members only jacket. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all I really want.
I think that's all he owns.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a strong possibility for the surprise. And those are who I have for my surprises. So my final 4, I agree with everybody. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes for sure are going to be the I feel like it's either going to be last 2, or I would love for Bill's idea. That would just, I would pop for that. I feel like I'm here for it. I'm good for it. I feel like I would love to see, and this is just me speculating, Pete Dunne in the final 4, because they just reintroduced the Pete Dunne character.
They did.
They brought. So I'm like, if you're going to bring Pete Dunne back, he needs a massive push. If he doesn't make the top 4, then at least the top 5. But I see Pete Dunne going, final 4.
I'm going to counter that.
Yeah. So okay. Well, but I'll give you another one, then we can counter.
Please.
But the other that I'm going to throw in there for the sake of, if the Rock Roman match doesn't happen at WrestleMania, is going to be Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Because if we want to
Solo and Rock.
No, Solo wins it. If he wins it, then it'll be Solo and Roman. And that way it keeps the storyline continuity going. It gives Roman a match at Mania if The Rock doesn't want to get involved. And it's another way for Solo maybe to take the title off, or to lose to Roman at this point, if they want that. Or, again, they break the bloodline up. It's going down anyway. But
which would you put him with the face Uso right now, and like have him like them work together as like a face unit? Like, would you do that?
Solo and Jimmy?
I don't remember which one's the baby face of the group.
Excuse me, Jay. Jay is the face.
So Amanda, would you have Solo and Jay kind of work as a unit, and like, so this way people really buy, because Jay is a big baby face. He's really over.
Well, I feel like they've been teasing the Solo Roman thing anyway for a bit. So I feel like this is a good way to just
Yeah.
Even
you
if
know
he
what?
makes the final four, I feel like that's just kind of a backup option that they may have in case they don't want to pull the trigger on Punk and Rhodes. If The
And
Rock doesn't want to do WrestleMania, they have the story. I doubt that. I feel like The Rock still would, but
no, but you know what? You got the out of The Rock not wrestling.
Yeah.
He backs Solo.
He backs. Yeah.
Ah.
I think that's fucking awesome. I think that would be great. I think that would be really awesome.
Pete Dunne is still kind of rotating for me, but I really feel like I do too. But that's just my wishful he's my wishful thinking pick. But I definitely for sure at least my top three are CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Solo Sikoa.
I have two I want to add to cameos. Trick Williams, I think is almost a lock that he's going to be in the Rumble.
What's up, Brandon?
Oh, what's up? It's the Flamingo King.
Here, I'm going to take out the microphone so you can join.
And then Obi Fima, who's the new North American champion. I think Obi Fima or Ofi Fima, he's the new North American champion in NXT. And I think they've been presenting him as a beast and having him in that Keith Lee spot from a few years ago where someone's like, oh shit, look at this big motherfucker. That's what Brock decided.
Was he in the breakout tournament?
He was. He won.
Okay, all right. I know. So okay, all right.
If you just put him in where he could toss an established guy, like you throw a Carl Anderson and a Carlito in there and he tosses them out, he gets that spot and it's like, oh shit, look what that guy just did.
Like a Diesel spot?
But like a mini one, like a abbreviated one where people are really impressed by the elimination that like three guys toss him out.
4 to 5?
Yeah, so he's he could do that, and I think that would be a really great way to make a new star because they definitely seem to be pushing that.
Cool.
But ultimately, Rob, you cannot copy and paste your answers, my friend. And you can't put Brandon in because he's not officially signed yet.
Can you guys see this? You can't see it. Conrad O'Connor.
Oh my god.
Who the fuck is Conrad O'Connor?
Someone made that.
Oh, what was the one? Oh, was it? Oh yeah.
Internet. Wow.
So you can't copy and paste it.
Yes. Okay. So real quick, I'm gonna do surprises. I think Cardona, even though he's on the Jericho cruise, we've seen it before where they've been able to make it from fly out from wherever.
They're gonna chopper him in.
Yeah, get to the chopper.
I would chop her away from Jericho too. At this
speaking of Long Island, guys, I'm just gonna put it out, and this is totally fantasy booking, but I would love to see the machine behind MJF. I would. He's done so much in AEW. I would love to see that machine behind MJF. That would be very, very cool to see. Also, you got to take torn labrum into account. And I know there were reports that he had quietly resigned, and then he had denied those reports. Who knows what goes on?
Okay,
I just think that would be cool.
You're not.
I don't want to get too into it because we're running long.
No, you're breezing. You can't breeze through that.
Okay, go ahead.
That would be one of the biggest coups to get the former AEW World Champion to show up in the Royal Rumble.
That would be Pillman-esque.
Yeah. What would not Junior?
Okay. The real Pillman.
But Rob, walk me through what MJF would do as a surprise in the Royal Rumble. Wouldn't you have to take him to the end?
So. No, I don't think you'd have to take him. I don't think you'd have to take him to the end. And like I said in the past, I would love to see a lot more fun, especially if we don't know what's going on with him with this bidding war thing he's been playing up. Like, have fun with it, mess with it on social media if it's real, if it's not. Like, play. I would like to see him play with that because it's like you had all this bidding war 2024, and now it's like he's just gonna come back to AEW, and I feel like he is taking some crappy.
Not the answer.
Okay.
I want you. You got to commit to the bit.
I don't want to spend too much time on this. But
you
brought him up.
You brought him up.
No one else brought up MJF.
You have to answer it. If you put MJF in the Royal Rumble, what do you do with him?
And spend at least 90 seconds doing it.
Yeah.
I think MJF, and I don't think this is happening for the record. I'm putting this out there, especially with the torn labrum and whatever. I'm sure he's totally getting fixed. So I really don't want to do hypotheticals, but if you want me to, he'll come in, you'll get the pop, you'll get the moment, you'll get some eliminations, but I don't think that means he's a top guy in WWE out of the gate. I don't think that means he's going to be Final Four or anything like that. I don't see anything.
Okay, I just wanted to get what you thought. He opened the door, Your Honor. So I had to.
We were on the Long Island guys, so I was kind of just going off that.
So Rob, I know you don't want to go too long, but who's your Final Four and winner?
So I said, and J Bone just said it in the comments. We were kind of talking about Gunther, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, And I might go main event Jey Uso, actually, out there. You
It's
know,
a very good one.
something different. I think you might even get that moment where I think, first of all, I think kind of what Bill said earlier, you're going to get this almost like, I call it like an overtime kind of moment where it's like there's something, not something, I don't want to do like the feet hit at the same time. There'll be something, whether it's an interference or some silliness that adds that like, oh, well, what do we do? Like, we have to go into overtime or we're going to have this moment. And it's probably going to be Punk and Cody. Like J-Bone said over on 3 Counts and Knockouts, what if you had Cody in the final 4 and he gets eliminated by like Gunther or something like that? And you have that, like, I could see that moment where everyone's just like, because if Cody's the last one out, the last one eliminated, you kind of get that, oh shoot, Cody's eliminated, but oh yay, Punk or whoever won at the same time. So you don't let the moment land. If Cody goes out like 1 or 2 earlier, you have that like heart sinking moment and everyone's just like, Cody's out, like who's gonna win kind of a thing. That being said, I'm gonna agree with Mike. I think Punk's mission statement when he came in here is, hey, I was gonna throw a monkey wrench into everyone's story. And I just think if Cody wins here, it's like, okay, he's going to face Roman or whoever at WrestleMania, and you're not, where's the drama? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not doing the hard times thing again, but CM Punk's mission statement, notoriously not a CM Punk guy, was to throw a wrench in everyone's, in the machine, the monkey wrench, and this is it. And I think it's perfect. It's perfect for everyone involved. It makes a lot of sense. And, I'm going to go CM Punk, keep it short and sweet.
Careful with that word, perfect. Just
I love when you commit to an answer, Rob. Don't like you got that high wrestling acumen, my friend.
Well, that's generous. That's generous. I try. I always try my hardest.
I am very, very kind today.
Real quick, because it's almost tomorrow. Let's go to the women's Royal Rumble match. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises here.
Because there's 4 people in it so far.
6.
Wow. Listen, degree in words, not numbers.
And we said this on previous Royal Rumble shows where we're like, oh, there's only 6 people or 8 people. Like, one of them's probably going to win. Amanda, I'm going to throw it to you first. And give me the surprises, because maybe a surprise entrant could win here.
It's Amanda. It's Amanda, because she's the master of the Amanda on a pole match.
Yay, I'm on a pole match. Yeah. He's going to finger poke of Doomit is what's going to happen.
Nice.
If he's the opponent.
It's a loaded statement. I don't want to get into it. What happens in your private lives? We've talked about this. As long as no one's ass explodes, we're fine.
That was a whole, again, y'all need to, when that episode drops, there you go. So I feel like, yes, this one is going to have a lot more surprises, for sure. I feel like, obviously, AJ Lee is going to make her appearance here, for sure. And she's going to have a good little run. I don't see her making like the final 4, final 5, but I think she's going to come out. She's going to show she can still go. And I think maybe then and there we'll find out if she's actually going to return full-time, part-time, or if this is just a one-off. So we'll find out AJ's situation at that point. Jade. I think Jade Cargill's for sure.
Yeah, man.
This is going to be her
Jade.
Her triumphant.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be her reintroduction, and we're going to see the fruits of the repackaging labor here for Jade Cargill for sure. I actually, of course, from NXT, I think Tiffany Stratton is a shoo-in to come in for sure. I also feel like Ava Rain is going to show up.
Yes.
I feel like, especially with The Rock being on the board, especially with the segment that happened earlier, of course, with William Regal. I think, again, she's just going to come out and just, again, not a very long run, not a very, but just for that pop. And I think for also WWE to test her out, because I do feel like, here's the nepotism thing here, but I feel like she's going to get a fast track. I feel
like her and Jade are made for that Diesel spot.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to win, but you're going to get 5 to 8 eliminations.
So the only thing that was holding her back was apparently she had really bad knees, and that's why they put her in the GM spot. So that might be the only thing holding that one back.
Yeah.
But in the Royal Rumble, you don't have to take those bumps.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
So
I should be in the Royal Rumble then.
You should be I'm taking Bill to win the Royal Rumble. The women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I'll just talk. Everyone will be like, oh, we'd lose. Bye.
Oh man. So Mickey James. I feel like Mickey James is a shoe that she would come
Yes.
in as well. Um, I'm curious to see if Camille will show up
Yeah.
as well. And I think she's I was looking again at AEW, at NWA, TNA. I feel like Camille would be a solid choice to come in. If we again, there's been the talk, but nothing definitive yet. So I think she's a strong contender to come in here as well. And of course, just kind of in the interest of time, I think we're going to see Lyra as well.
Yeah.
Valkyria. I'm like the worst at pronouncing names, but I think
That's
she's going
actually
to show up.
very correct.
Oh, yay, good.
So who wins?
Who wins? So my final four is going to be my other two surprises. Sasha Banks. Am I allowed to say that now? Yeah, I'm going to say it. Sasha Banks, Naomi, Bailey, and Bianca are my final four. And I feel like Sasha Banks is going to win it. And she's going to go against Rhea for the women's title at Mania and win it. Because you need somebody bigger than Rhea Ripley to win the title off of her. And Rhea's had it long enough. I love her, but we need more. That title needs to change hands.
Respect.
I'd like to see it defended.
I respect that.
That's my
So
guess.
you don't have Jade Cargill in the final four.
I do not, because I think it's
Okay.
still too soon.
Okay.
I could see her in like the top six,
Sure.
but not the final four. So that's me.
This is going to be. Yeah, please, Brandon, weigh in, please.
Get in here, Brandon.
Yeah, I think they're going to team up against Jade towards the end. You know,
Okay.
she's the big powerhouse compared to the rest of them. So I think that's why she won't make it to the final four. You're going to see a combination of hits before taking her over the top. But I see her going pretty far. Sasha, Mercedes, of course. You're going to see that team up with Bailey. That's going to be just like old times right there. What is going to be interesting is seeing the dynamics of Bailey's other groups. How is that going to work with Sasha? Is that going to cause the rift? I was like, are they going to work together? I was like, or is this where the Kabuki Warriors / group, are they going to end up leading to the clash right afterwards? Meaning Sasha won't win. Because then you got that whole dynamic going. Women's is really hard because I think Raquel is going to come back.
Is she healthy?
Yeah,
I
I
hope,
hope
let's
so.
hope she is healthy.
I hope so. If she's
That
healthy, she should come back.
That what she had sounded real shitty.
Gnarly.
Yeah, really
it
bad,
was
but I
very
think
gnarly.
she had enough time where she's got the treatment. She's able to do the fast track to make it come back. So I think she's going to be a big surprise, but there's just too many variables for the women's.
I
I
love that, and it has been a minute. And again, the Rumble is one of those things where you can. I mean, if you don't need them to make that like 60-minute heroic spot, you can have them come in, protect them pretty well, and whether they win or lose, still put a spotlight on them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love that. Honest to God, I wasn't even thinking about Raquel, but now that you said that, I love that.
Love it. Who do you got winning the thing?
Me? Bailey.
No, I was going to say Brandon.
Oh, sorry, Brandon.
You could.
I don't know, actually.
It's tough.
No,
It is. I was gonna go with Sasha, but I think the whole dynamic's gonna throw it off. But I don't see them putting Bianca back over again though, because she's already had that run a couple of times.
Did you see Naomi?
I love Naomi.
No, Naomi will be there, top 6, top 8, but I think she's gonna be one of those. They're gonna pull the spot like they've done every other time. She's gonna show off her athletic abilities. Handstand, something, end up on the table, do the jump. They're going to pull it. They always do it. Now that she's back, they'll be like, hey, show us what you got. But I don't think she's making it to the very end. Sasha or Bailey?
I love that you always bring like the wrestler's perspective. Like I could tell how your mind works differently than ours as like fans or journalists. Like I could tell like you're like, oh well, if she goes out here, this won't make sense for the heat or blah blah blah. And I'm just like, okay, I got to start thinking that way, man. I love it when you come on, guys. The Flamingo King himself. Real quick, Amanda, I like everything you said. All the surprises were great. I really hope to see Camille in this one. It's going to be awesome. I'm just going to go with. We have not seen Jade in some time. You know, she was making appearances at NXT, PLEs, maybe a Raw or SmackDown here or there. I think this is the number 29, the number 30. She comes in, you know, the big, you know, cliche, Brock Lesnar comes in, wins it. I'm going to give this one to Jade, believe it or not. I'm going to go Jade Cargill to win the Rumble. Mueller, help me out here. You're Mr. Perfect.
Sure I am. I do want to say also, giving me the Mr. Perfect moniker, I was much better when Vince McMahon was at the helm.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
Not that I ever want Vince McMahon to come back, but I just want to say when you're like, you call shit, it's because I understand Vince McMahon, not Triple H. I have Bailey winning this. I've got her. I would love if Trinity Naomi comes back. I would love for Sasha to come back too, and I would love for them to have a feud with each other, and maybe there's an elimination in that. I do see Jade being a late entry somewhere between 20 and 25. I don't see her being number 30, especially if she wins. I don't want her to be number 30. If she loses, she can be number 30. I think this is going to be Bailey because I think the only true story as far as women's wrestling goes, you've got Becky and Nia and other people going on. But to me, the only women's story that has me fascinated as far as the Rumble goes is the possibility of Bailey winning. And obviously all of Damage Control is going to want her to face Rhea, and she's going to choose to face Io instead. And I think we've done a good enough job building Bailey as this sympathetic face where the rest of Damage Control is sort of manipulating her and pushing her and leaving her on her own. I've got Bailey winning this from an early spot. I'd love to see it from one of those spots that have never won. Number 6, number 7, number 11, number 12, number 17, number 20, number 21. One of those spots where she wins and everyone expects her to face Rhea Ripley, but she ends up going babyface and facing Io Sky. So I've got Bailey winning it. Pretty clean. Like, she's going to take a long run. She's not going to be a late entry. She's going to earn it. And she's going to face Io, and she's going to beat Io, and we're all going to pop at WrestleMania.
Couple people in 3 counts and knockouts were saying Bailey as well. Kelvin in the chat.
Good people.
Kelvin in the chat saying, don't get mad at me. Nia Jax wins the Rumble.
Nia, by the way, Nia, here's my lock of the night. Here's my lock of the Rumble. Nia Jax is number 30. Lock.
Okay.
Man, when she comes out number 2, you're gonna be so pissed.
Reese in the chat saying, "I'm calling a swerve. Dakota eliminates Bailey for the wow. It's hard to put your finger on this one." Gina in the chat saying, 30 will be Ronda Rousey. Wow, lots going on here, and this is the fun of it. It really is. Bill, reel me in, man. What's going on here?
I don't think Sasha Banks is going back. I've too many esteemed reporters. I know people have problems with wrestling journalists, but I don't because you trust the people who are pretty reliable. I think Sasha or Mercedes is signed to AEW and they're just waiting to debut her. I think what you have to do here, I think one thing has to happen here. Naomi's going to come back, but you cannot do the thing you always do, which is have the pop, which Rob is always like, yeah, I'd feel the glow. And every time it does that, Rob, you say that. And I'm like, and that's where it ends. I do feel the glow. Yeah. And that's where it ends. She does her creative spot, and that's it.
Bloodline?
They don't push her. They don't. No, but what they've done in the past is like she's gone for a while. She gets the huge Rumble entrance. She does the creative spot, and then nothing really happens. This woman was Beyonce's daughter's favorite wrestler. You did not capitalize on that. You were all very dumb Beyonce literally comes out in the media and says, Naomi is my daughter's favorite wrestler. How do you not capitalize on that? This is a fact. What you now have is she is bloodline adjacent. She has gone out and she has had matches that have against really, really good in-ring performers. She has not only held her own, but exceeded and done really well at. It is time to run with her. And I think she's the one who she will face the other champion. Whoever the winner does not challenge, I think she should be challenging that person at WrestleMania. She should win the title, give her the ball. You don't have Charlotte and you have limited shot, and you have had the top of that is so small and so stale that you need someone new. And she is someone that people are familiar with, but she's new enough on a return that's going to make her special because
So
she's never had
does
that
she
full run.
does she face Io or Rhea?
What? I'm saying whoever, well, I'm going to go with your pick, Mike, and I'm going to go with Bailey and Bailey with the long run. So she'll challenge Rhea Ripley.
Bailey challenges Rhea.
No, I'm sorry. Naomi will challenge Rhea. Bailey
challenges
Io.
Io.
Because so what I think happens is Naomi wins the women's elimination chamber, and she has Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
Because that is a fresh match.
Yeah.
Styles make fights. Let's go. Bailey and Io will be, I think, the long, who are you going to fight? Who are you going to fight? Who are you going to fight? And she doesn't know. She doesn't know. And then Damage Control just is fed up with her and they beat the shit out of her. Not unlike maybe pull an old Sting 4 Horsemen type deal in Corpus Christi, as long as she doesn't blow her knee out. So, like Sting did. So listen, come on. Come on.
I love it. I love it.
But listen, I think that's great. I think your final four are going to be, it's going to be Bailey. I think it's going to be Asuka, which is also going to piss Damage Control off because Bailey's going to throw her out last. And then
Asuka last?
Bailey Asuka last.
Okay.
Yeah, so you really lean into the Damage Control of it all.
Yeah, no, I love it.
And I think that's, you could also get that little bit of peace there because, hey, it's everyone for themselves, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
But secretly, they're like, fuck you. And then I think you have, I'm going to throw a wild card in. I'm going to throw a UK wild card in the end. I'm going to put Piper Niven in at the end.
Mhm.
And I'm going to throw in, I'll throw Naomi in at four. She'll be in the final four.
Naomi, Bailey, Asuka, Piper.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I just want to throw a wild card in there because there's always that random person that's in there. And what better way? They all have to throw Piper out,
right?
And stuff like that.
Yeah, no, she's great. To me, that is my Nia spot.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
But someone who can wrestle.
Sure, and someone who we actually root for.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to surprises, like I said, it's going to be Naomi. I don't think Sasha. Jade for sure. She'll be in the middle of the pack. She'll have a really good run, then get dumped out by 5 people. I think you're going to see. I think you'll see Mickie James. You'll see Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne Perez.
Roxy, yeah.
And I think you'll see.
I do want to say
there's one more person from NXT that I had in my head that I'm totally whiffing on right now. There'll at least be another woman from NXT in there, maybe Blair Davenport or JC Jane, like one of them. They'll be in there, and I think that'll be a pretty good run.
Awesome.
And Michelle McCool, of course.
Oh,
yes.
You're saying Thea Hale?
Thea Hale. She's been getting that steam, so I can see her coming in during the Rumble. Not going far, but she's going to come in, make a good impact, get her name even more out there, and then she'll get thrown out. But I think she'll be good. Maybe the Lola Vice, too.
Can I throw a random person out there for the Iron Woman spot? She's not going to win. It's not even necessarily going to be about her, but...
Is it Natalya?
No. God, no.
Ivy?
She's earned it, but no.
I love
Ivy.
Yeah.
She's great.
I like that.
I see her being a number 3 or number 4 and being there when number 30 gets in. She's never going to be a main spot, but she's going to be there throughout.
You know what they have to have her do? They have to have her gorilla press someone out of the ring.
Please. Have her gorilla press Natalya. I don't care.
I think that would actually be the right move.
That'd be great.
Love it. Good
That'd
stuff.
be great.
You guys are killing it. And I love, like, with the women's, we know, like, or we don't know, I should say. Like, there's so many possibilities. It's really exciting. I think this is a very exciting Rumble. Lots going down in Tampa. It's going to be awesome. Guys, thanks for staying up late, joining us in the comments. But before we get out of here, we are all about that shameless promo here on the BCP. Mike, tell everyone about a little something called Sweet Chin Musings real quick.
Sure. So Sweet Chin Musings is a podcast that me and my buddy Luke do. We talk about modern storylines that are going on. We do top tens. We do behind the scenes stuff. We talk about whatever's relevant to wrestling right now. We got a new podcast dropping Thursday talking all about the Royal Rumble. If you want to read my incredibly insightful thoughts on the NFL and everything else, I am at the BCP Plus. I've done Raiders roundups all year. I also just did a article for the Bills Chiefs matchup, and just very excited to be doing all that. So find me at Sweet Chin Musings on anywhere you can get podcasts, and find me at the BCP Plus for all of my written articles.
Appreciate it. Good stuff, man. We appreciate you. And thanks for rocking the merch. Shameless promo. Get yours now.
Always.
Let's throw it over to
See that hat?
Oh, dude, come on, man. Looking fresh, man. Wrestling fashion winner right there. That's all I got to say. Let's throw it over to Brandalorian. Amanda, tell us about some of the great stuff you do. And Brandon, you know the deal, brother. Get your stuff in.
Well played. Because we do have that our joint couples cosplay account at Brandalorian on Instagram. And I am at Mandalorian on Instagram. I am at Resner's Chick on X. And I'm gonna let Bill do the socially distanced thing, but I am also co-host not only of Socially Distanced, but of Anime Pop on the Pop Break. We just dropped our episode yesterday on solo leveling, which is fantastic, by the way. And then, of course, we talked about some of the nominees for the 2024 Crunchyroll Anime Awards. And so check that out, of course, in February. So next month we'll be covering Avatar as well, bringing the live action band back together with Bill and Brandon on Anime Pop. But of course, I'm going to transition it to my crazy significant other over here, which I'm wearing the new merch, by the way. Flocking Brawlers. So y'all can message this one to get one. So go for it.
So I'm Brandon Weiss, the Flamingo King, half of the Flocking Brawlers with my partner Casey Blackrose, breaking hearts and backs. You can find me on social media, Brandon Weiss Wrestling, and on X at Havoc1775.
Love this. I popped so big for the slogan, man. That's good.
That's so good.
Love it. Bill, what do you got going on over there?
Thepopbreak.com celebrating year 15, and we are doing lots of fun stuff. Go check us out on all forms of social media at the Pop Break, except for YouTube. We are at popbreak.com, all spelled out. You could check out our gal Kimi Soko, who did all the videos from World's End, including Tony Storm calling out Wendy Richter, which thousands of people have checked out, which is pretty rad. Also stuff with Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Tony Khan, and Julia Hart. So go check out all that. And plus we got some other stuff from All Out, I should say, in Chicago. So of course, check out Socially Distanced, the flagship podcast of thepopbreak.com every single Friday on all your favorite streaming platforms. Amanda and I are talking every single week about great stuff. We will be dropping our episode about True Detective Season 4 Night Country with our friend Kelly McGovern on Friday. Amanda and I are taking this show on the road tomorrow. We're going to be in the United States Department of Nerds with Jeff Fountain. We're going to be talking about Marvel's Echo. So go follow them on all their social media platforms. We'll be starting that, I believe, live at 8 o'clock. And then I am the Bill and the Bill versus the MCU podcast on the Pop Break Today podcast feed, where we are going to be talking about X-Men and all stuff leading up to Deadpool. So go check out all of that. And if you must follow me on X, I am at Bodkin Writes. And Rob, as always, thank you for having all of us on. Thank you for committing to a bit. We always love when you give your opinions and you don't copy and paste. We love when you get in there and stack everything up. So I just want to say thank you for having us. Everyone, support the Bob Culture Podcast. It's great. We've been doing this for 40 years now. God, I'm 97 years old. It's crazy times. I remember when we were talking about, Bruno being a young and upcoming fucker, and now we're here, guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us. Rob's so tired right now, so take us home, buddy.
I was just going to end it on that, man. How am I going to top that? Guys, thanks for staying up. Thanks for supporting. Make sure you subscribe to the channel or on YouTube. We got a big couple weeks coming up on the site, bcp-plus.com. If you guys want to sponsor the podcast or the site, please reach out. And thank you, everyone, for staying up. And, guys, like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace. I'd like to welcome in our new sponsor for the year of 2024, Bree Combination Wrestling, BCW, ahead of their event at the Mecca in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. Welcome to 2024, the new year, featuring Christina Marie, Brittany Blake, Vicious Vicky, Face, Jay Bougie, Anthony Gangone, Darius Carter, and a whole lot more Saturday, January 20th at the Mecca. Before we get started, I want to shout out our sponsors here on the BCP. As always, the BCP is brought to you by our favorite store, Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, located online and at the Englishtown Flea Market in Englishtown, New Jersey, on Saturdays and Sundays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Blue Building. Get your wrestling stuff, retro video games, G.I. Joes, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters. It's our favorite store. Thank you, Heather and Dan, for sponsoring the show. Please welcome in our new sponsor, Mania Club. Established in 2015, Mania Club is a WWE recognized community for fans with an eclectic love for both the world of professional wrestling and raising money for Connor's Cure. During WrestleMania weekend, we host the official tailgate of WrestleMania while also celebrating the life of Connor McCauley. They're the single largest donor within the V Foundation for Connor's Cure with over $150,000 raised. Please donate and join the Facebook group over at Mania Club. Donate at jimmyv.org/Mania Club. The BCP is also sponsored by the No Gimmicks Podcast, the pro wrestling podcast that keeps it 100% real 100% of the time. The No Gimmicks Podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. Shout out Kelvin. Check out the No Gimmicks Podcast. Wrestling All Day, All Night is the best wrestling discussion group on Facebook. We provide more of a community feel here and have wrestling fans introduce other fans to something they may have not seen before, such as old school wrestling, indie wrestling, Japanese wrestling, and more. We also strive to be a source for information regarding upcoming wrestling meet and greets and signings. And remember, we're open 24/7, all day, all night. Be sure to follow on socials and join the group on Facebook at Wrestling All Day, All Night. BCP is also sponsored by Warriors of Wrestling. Warriors of Wrestling returns to Brooklyn, New York on Saturday, January 6th, featuring former WWE superstars Mace and Mansoor, also featuring Darius Carter, Joe Acasio, Angel Metro, Vicious Vicky, TJ Marconi, and a whole lot more. Get your tickets now at warriorsofwrestling.com. And don't forget to subscribe for some great matches over on the Warriors of Wrestling YouTube channel. Please welcome in our new sponsors, the Sweet Chin Musings podcast. Sweet Chin Musings is the creation of the reigning, rarely defending, highly disputed champion of wrestling podcast, Mr. Perfect Mike Mueller, and his tag team partner in crime, Luke Kudialis. SCM focuses on the in-ring product of WWE and AEW. No dirt sheet rumors here, as well as backstage news, predictions, and analysis of characters, storylines, and major pay-per-views. Old school fans, don't worry, we have you covered too with a look back on classic matches, top 10 lists, and interactive tournaments that let the fans decide who is truly the best of all time. You can find us on Facebook at Sweet Chin Musings, and be sure to check out the podcast on all your favorite podcast major streaming platforms. We also got to shout out our new sponsors, United States Department of Nerds, the USDN Podcast, a podcast presented by Dat Feeling Podcast Network, LLC. The USDN Podcast is run by Jeffrey T. Fountain, a BCP Plus contributor, Jennifer Johnson, Eric Johnson, and Tay Stith, and is also home to the Queens of Nerdom podcast. USDN Podcast is a safe place for all nerds where they can come to be entertained, learn, and embrace debate. USDN prides itself on being by the people, for the people, and of the people. Here at the USDN, we strive to bring you the best content we can find where you know it comes with the USDN seal of approval. We always strive to give you factual data. If it's a rumor, we'll always preface it with the rumor alert before dropping the freshest info. However, once those rumors are proven true, you can bet your money we at USDN are slamming the stamp down and giving it the USDN seal of approval. Hit our links on social media for all our merch. This ad is USDN approved. BCP is now sponsored by the international shining star, Ray Kalitri. Kalitri has honed his craft traveling and wrestling all over the world, including destinations such as Mexico, Peru, Puerto Rico, and even Egypt. The ISPW Tri-State Champion and Golden Ticket holder is also one of the longest reigning ECPW Light Heavyweight Champions in history. Kalitri also holds an international championship that he won in Mexico. Always known for his appreciation of world culture, the Shining Star is also known for his taste for high fashion, lavish lifestyle, and fast cars. However, he is most prominently known around the globe for his unparalleled in-ring acumen and skill set. Be sure to follow Ray Kalitri across the board on social media at Kalitri Ray on Twitter, at PAP1Fresh on Instagram, and Ray Kalitri on Facebook. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for the show, GPW Productions. GPW provides your promotion or event with top-tier video and audio production, live streaming, and more. I can personally vouch for them in saying they're hands down the best production company I've ever worked with, as they continue to work with the likes of AEW, GCW, StarCast, MLW, not to mention the majority of the local independent promotions here in the tri-state area. They can even help you film a vignette or promo for your persona or gimmick. And guess what? GPW doesn't just work in wrestling. They cover MMA, boxing, basketball, or any other sporting event as well. Guys, on a personal note, as always, I'd like to thank Mike Sesko, Frank Leone, O'Neil Andrews, and the team for giving me multiple opportunities to work with them and some of the best talent in the world. Book GPW for a promotion or event today at contact@gpwproductions.com. Once again, the BCP is sponsored by Pro Wrestling Magic. Pro Wrestling Magic presents Kingdom Come 8, 99 red balloons on Saturday, December 23rd at the Mecca, Ridgefield Park here in New Jersey. Get your tickets now or watch live on IWTV. Kingdom Come 8 features Darius Carter, Steve Pena, Steve Off, Kerr, Alex Ryman, Danny Moff, the Notorious Mimi, the Ruthless Lala, Vicious Vicky, Adina Steele, the Rep, Death Row, and a whole lot more. Tune in on IWTV. Guys, I want to give a special shout out and thanks to our new December podcast sponsor, Key Nation, featuring our very own BCP and BCP Plus contributor, Mr. Wayne Keener. Make sure to follow Key Nation on TikTok and Instagram for great puns, memes, dad jokes, and random ridiculous content. Thank you, Wayne. Welcome in our new December sponsors for the BCP DDE Daddy Daughter Entertainment. Thank you, Chucky Diesel and Chloe Rain, for sponsoring the show. Daddy Daughter Entertainment is all about family and being a fan of professional wrestling. It's my favorite thing about this crazy business is seeing Chucky and Chloe at shows. And DDE right now are putting out some amazing content and special attraction matches. Thank you, DDE. Guys, last but not least, I want to shout out our new December sponsor, Chop City Wrestling. Chop City Wrestling is where our pal Ryan Steniford takes chops from wrestlers and donates $20 to Connor's Cure for every chop he takes. Follow his adventures on his YouTube channel for all those chops and some great pro wrestling content for a great cause. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and thank you, Ryan, for sponsoring the BCP.
Yo, listen, it's Platinum Max, part of the Acclaim, the Platinum Playboy, best wrestler alive, and you are rocking with the Bob Culture Podcast. Yo, listen, Platinum on the mic, and I'm coming for your ass. I'm listening to the Bob Culture Podcast, and I think it's the hottest show in the game, because them and everybody loves the Acclaim. Now, scissor me.